Hello YouTube, I want to welcome you guys to my first Let's Play. Let the intros get out of the way. The age of exploration has dawned upon the world of Arcadia. Brave adventurers sail across the vast skies in search of treasures untold. And where there is treasure, there will be air pirates. And, like I said, welcome to my first Let's Play ever, Skies of Arcadia Legends. This is actually a port of a Dreamcast game that was then moved over to the GameCube, with some noticeable quality of life touches. I'll kind of try to get into those further as we start playing the game. Anyways, I've been wanting to do Let's Plays ever since I first kind of saw some more famous Let's Players back in 2010. Finally got kind of the tech to do it, and this has been one I've wanted to do pretty much from the get-go. This is kind of up there with some of my favorite childhood games, Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, or Paper Mario, they are among them. I do plan to get to those at some point, but I'm just so glad I finally get to be doing this. Like I said, I hope let this intro play out. Alright, let's start. I'm going to start a new game. And I will go ahead and concede I am playing this on Dolphin Emulator. I just don't have immediate access to a functioning machine or an actual physical copy of the game. Hopefully, if Sega ever re-releases this for a modern console, I actually do tend to purchase it and maybe re-release this Let's Play as an updated format. But for the meantime, generally speaking, I will try to promote an official release as is reasonable. This is just one of the few rare exceptions where I just unfortunately can. So it's also why I'm disabling the rumble. Wouldn't do me any good anyway. Starting off the game with a cutscene, so try not to talk too much during them, other than any voice acting that would be permitted for them. Ha ha ha! We finally found her. Admiral Alfonso. Her ship's in range of our cannons. Excellent. Prepare to fire concussion shells on my command, but avoid hitting our ship directly. We need her alive so we can question her. Fire! Your Excellency, the girl has been knocked unconscious, but she's unharmed. She's been taken aboard our ship. The Empress will be very pleased with me. I'm sure to be rewarded. Rather handsomely, I might add. What? Where did that come? What? Where did that come from? It sounded like an explosion. Status report, now! The lower hull has been hit. Someone is attacking us. Attacking us? Who would dare attack a vessel of the Imperial Armada? There's a small ship hiding in the clouds off the port side. That flag! Air pirates! You have to forgive me if there's any weird noises. My sinus issues are kind of acting up a little bit. So. Air pirate scum! Don't you know that we're the Valuan Imperial soldiers? Of course I know. That's why I attacked your ship. You guys have the best stuff. I'm Vice of the Blue Rogues, and in a few minutes I'll be relieving you of all your valuables. Attacking us all by yourself? You're either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid. We'll be tossing you overboard. Wait for me! Vice, you left without me. I'm not gonna let you have all the fun. Oh, hi, I'm Aka. I'm a blue rogue like Vice. And we're robbing you. You dare mock the Empire with your insolence? Kill them and toss their corpses over the side. Alright, so we're getting into the, like I said, the game just kind of throws us in first thing. I'm going to kind of lay out some basic ideas. You have your kind of standard attack. In general, it works like any other turn-based JRPG. Generally, it'll hit. There is always a chance that it misses. Always a chance for counterattacks. If you get a critical hit, it's a guaranteed hit. It does double damage. Normally can't be countered unless one character or another has their guard up, in which case the potential for countering is there. There is also counterattacks will always guaranteed hit as well. You could choose to guard. If you have items, you can use items. So this is an interesting detail. Obviously, you can see my standard equipment, but you can actually change your equipment mid-battle. Another thing is you have your special moves. Right now, in this particular fight, it's not going to do very much. Focus, if you see that top meter up on top, that's kind of your spirit energy. That's used for both spells and special moves. Right now, we don't have any spells, so I don't know if you notice. I'm going to set up an attack just to start things off. I'm just going to pick these soldiers. They have the same thing. You see how Vice's weapons are red and Aka is green? These actually directly correlate with magic abilities, and this is how you pick up spells in the game. I'll kind of explain a little bit closer to the end screen. It also has a double effect of the fact that there is kind of a type strength and weakness. As far as I know, with the current slot layout, these are all Valuan soldiers. They come from like a lightning area, so they have a yellow lightning or yellow affinity. They are actually slightly weak to green. That said, I'm going to be leaving the setup as is, because Vice does enough damage on his own. And I will need the Pyre line of spells that I'll explain in further detail, so just kind of get into it. And here we go, example of a critical hit, and the soldier doesn't have his guard up. So it will one-shot him. Actually, it might have, I couldn't tell, because usually there's a noticeable knockback animation for criticals. I don't remember if the soldiers on Alfonso's ship do this. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about. So you kind of see these little spell affiliations, there's 6 of them. I'll explain each of them as I go along. I obviously kind of just gave away that yellow has a sort of a lightning affiliation. Green is your just general all-purpose medical spells. They are healing, but they do have a few poison spells mixed in. Red is your generally your fire spells, but there are some power increasing spells as well. Generally speaking, most players do not use a whole lot in the way of magic throughout the game, and there are a number of reasons for that. I'll kind of get into them as I go. But as a general whole, whatever weapon you have, that will increase the whole party's magic affiliation number by about that amount. As you saw, there was 1x1, so everyone gets like 1 red, 1 green. However, whoever is holding the weapon gets double the magic experience. So Weiss was holding a red weapon, so he got double red. Aika was holding green, she got double green. All in all, that would give Weiss 3 magic, Aika... Oh, so it adds up total as a party, by the way. So it's Weiss 2 red, Aika 1, Aika 2 green, Weiss 1. Okay. There's no point in resisting. Throw down your weapons and hand over your ship. Imbeciles. What do you think the 2 of you can do against the 5 of us? Take them out. I think you miscounted. I only see 4 of you. Dad! We'll take care of these guys. Make your way to the bridge and shut down the engines. And when we're out here, remember, it's Captain, not Dad. Got it? Yeah, aye, Captain. Aika, shall we go introduce ourselves to the captain of this ship? I'm ready when you are. Alright, let's go find the bridge. Alright, like I said, this is an interesting start to a game. It wastes no time starting us out in a dungeon. So, kind of run you through some of the controls real quick. Obviously, your standard up, down, left, right. That controls your movement. A is how you interact with stuff. I'm going to get to this in a second. B doesn't do anything on the field. If you hit start, it doesn't pause the game. It actually toggles the mini-map on and off, as you saw. The X key, I believe it is. Like I said, I've got this allocated to a keyboard, but if I'm not mistaken, the way I've got it mapped out, I've got the X key where it is. That opens up what effectively is your pause screen in the dungeon areas. There's going to be 2 kind of areas you interface with, but as you can see, and I'm going to talk about that little title on the lower right here in a second, and that actually pertains to that chest I just opened to some degree. So, and the Y key, it allows you to look around. It doesn't have a lot of functionality, though it does have some use throughout certain areas. But in general, that's what it does. If you want to change camera, that's where you use your L and R keys. Have to forgive me, Dolphin has a bit of a speed up function, which I may employ when going through some battles, but that was more accidental. All of a sudden understanding why that Billy guy lost his speedrunning record for, or his Donkey Kong record for using an emulator. So about that treasure chest, and I think you see like on the lower right hand, and this only works with Weiss, you don't see it with Aika or anyone. You see how it says like Weiss the Unimpressive? So there's what's in the game called a swashbuckler rating. Generally speaking, and I kind of can't say this without avoiding spoilers to some degree, but I'll try not to get too heavy into them. Generally speaking, there are 2 ways to increase your swashbuckler rating. You get in enough battles, that'll do it. It's attached to numerical values, just like any other game. There are also times throughout the game where you have dialogue options that have preset like right and wrong answers, if you will. Click the right answer, you could get the swashbuckler boost. Click a wrong. Sometimes it will have multiple right answers, but if you click a wrong answer, you could either just gain nothing or even lose points. There are unique in-game. There are unique swashbuckler ratings attached to particular events. The storyline stuff caps out at King of Rogues. However, there are certain things like Battle Lord Vice, where you fight and defeat 2,500 enemies. There's Explorer King Vice, which allows you to acquire 90% of treasure chests, and all of something else I'll kind of discuss in further detail later on. I am going to be trying for Vice the Legend, which is kind of considered the completionist rating. But if I fail, I am going to go for what is called the pseudo-completionist rating. Now, Vice the Legend, pseudo-completionist rating, it basically combines the prerequisites for Battle Lord, the Explorer King Vice I just told you about. You fight about 12 ships battles, 12 random ship battles, as I'll get into further details with a few optional ones. Very specific optional ones. What else? I think there's a few other prerequisites. I've just played this so many times now that it just kind of comes natural to me. To get the legend ranking, you have to get every single treasure chest in the game. Now you might be like, oh, if I missed one, I could just come back to the dungeon. Think about it story thematically wise. If the first dungeon in the game is a random individual ship you just invaded, you're probably not going to be able to come back to that later. And the game has a lot of dungeons like this. And as I've just indicated, Alfonso's ship is one of those you cannot come back after you leave. Some of them, you have a certain period where the certain chests will later become unavailable after a point, but there is a degree of ability to which you can come back. I'll try to point those out as I go along. So to help you guys out with this particular dungeon, there are precisely 4 treasure chests you need to get in Alfonso's ship. So gonna go down this hallway. And we're gonna get a cutscene right about here. Well, air pirates have decided to infest my ship. I am Alfonso, cherished son of Lua's most distinguished family, and an admiral of the Imperial Armada. Normally, lowlifes such as yourselves would never have the opportunity to bask in such greatness. Consider yourselves fortunate. Yeah, right. Who's the girl? I never thought someone of your stature would stoop to kidnapping. You're very observant for a rogue. However, I cannot waste my time dealing with you. I simply must get going. I think I shall have you exterminated like the pests you are. I like the game saving me some voice acting work there. Alright, so these guys, these are a little weaker than the soldiers you had. They're guards. Generally speaking, they more or less can be brought down in a single hit by either Vice or Aka. Alright. There we go. Critical hit. Yeah, and after the first 2 fights, you're guaranteed a level up in the game, because these 2 are scripted. And of course, I've got Aka's. The green spells are particularly optimal. Now, I wanted to talk about it. So I mentioned I don't use spells in battle all the time. They aren't completely unusable. So that is because, like I said, they take up spirit points, but they also take up magic points. I don't know if you saw earlier, but that treasure chest I acquired had Sacri crystals, which does the same thing as the Sacri spell. Outside of the field, they only cost the MP and can do their exact same intended effects. So oftentimes I'll use spells to heal outside of battle. Alright, so as for our first treasure chest of the game, we go from the main door that you got to where the cutscene is, you hang a left, and you'll have your your second treasure chest right here. More Sacri crystals, that is going to be extraordinarily helpful later on. Alright, another encounter. And this is where I'm going to capitalize on Dolphin's speed up feature. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Let me talk about this. So as you can see, it appears that our friends have gotten a little mixed up. This is the game's first instance of a first strike. Now, it can happen both ways. You could get the first strike, so can enemies. I will concede I'm going to be trying to do a deathless run. Getting first strike by the wrong enemy can preemptively ruin that. Let's go ahead and go for this soldier. So yeah, just be mindful, tailor your strategies accordingly. There is actually ways that you can keep up with how often you've been knocked unconscious. Alright, let's see here.
That was easy.
Alright, and that's going to be helpful. Pyrie's going to help me clear out. Now, I am making a little bit of an exception with Vice. Alright. So, next thing we want to do, we're going to kind of keep the game moving along. We're going to go along this middle bridge. What? How did you defeat my soldiers? If you want my ship that badly, you can have it. I'll get another. I'm very busy. I do not have the time to deal with you personally. Now, if you'll excuse me... Now, at this point, we have one of two options. If you look over there, you can kind of barely see it from here, but there is, kind of off to the far left side of their door, there is a switch. If you want to turn off the encounters altogether, you can flip that switch at any time, and it works. Also, if just the noise gets on your nerves as well. I'm going to go for the next treasure chest. So, if you come from where you just had this, you hang a right, and you go all the way back here. That is the third chest on Alfonso's ship, 50 gold, very helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you, most people don't do this because they don't do something crazy like, say, grind until the red and green spell lines are completed for both characters, which I may or may not have done. But you can potentially, these enemies, and I believe the soldiers drop one, the guards drop another. There is actually a very useful item these guys can drop for the early game if you want to stick around and just grind for a bit. It is called the Electric Box. It is you actually won't get access to yellow spells for a while, and it is particularly useful, especially for, frankly, making a few bosses very easy. I won't be going out of my way to do that, but it is something you can do. Alright, since I've got the first offensive spell, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set Vice to do it. I'm going to have Vice use Pyre. And you'll get a general idea of what your red magic does, and this will also help me explain something a little later down the line. Okay, so as you can see, fire-type magic, your red line, they'll usually hit all the enemies in an area, and they do considerable damage for whatever level you're at. Wow, speak of the devil, my luck is a little better than intended. That is extraordinarily rare. I could use this to fight the boss, however, I'm going to play as though I never got this, because most others may not. Like I said, if you want to grind, you potentially can. I may use it once. So, you saw there was another drop, a Moonberry. This is connected to your super moves. And I was going to wait till I got off the ship to discuss this because I only have one absolutely guaranteed Moonberry on the ship. However, I can go ahead and knock this out. Aka has two kind of special move types. She has effectively area of effect damage. This is Alpha Storm. It will attack a number of people in a line. However, it is functional to know that it is effectively coded in to function like Pyre, the Pyre line. And that's important because enemies with high magic resistances will be able to tank most of Aka's attacks. However, for this early in the game, that is actually a solid special move to have, and most of Vice's move set isn't ideal for this. Actually, this is not the move I want, it's the next one that's better, which I'll explain more. Aka is also kind of your status accountant, if you will. She has two things that kind of help deal with status-based, spell-based situations, particularly one for the whole team, that one particularly applies to her. So, alright. And if I get a moment, if I get one more encounter, I'll try to show off Alpha Storm as well. So, well, I was expecting to have to speed through a few of these frights, but alright, so there's the thing turned off. So right now, so you come through this door, and there is a save spot. You hang a left here, you'll get your final treasure chest, which is magic droplets. That could be particularly helpful. I am going to actually heal up with Aka. And I'm going to save on file number 2. That is, and as you can see, I kind of had a file going earlier, but mic quality wasn't great. So, trying this again from the ground up. Alright. And after this is our boss room. So, obviously, most of the dungeons here aren't terrifically long, but since the game just wastes no time starting you out in a dungeon, this one's particularly short. So like I said, just make sure you get those 4 treasure chests before you leave, otherwise you won't get the chance to come back. Your Excellency, the sun is up and visibility is good. The preparations for your escape have been completed. Good work. I have finished my preparations as well. Preparations to dispose of a traitor. What? Please, Your Excellency, what are you doing? I cannot tell the Empress that I lost my ship to the air pirates in a fair fight. I'm going to need a scapegoat, and you'll do quite nicely. To keep my glorious reputation from being tarnished, you must be sacrificed. No, you can't do this! Ah! Sorry, my screaming acting is not great. Even in death, he'll serve me well. I can't wait to tell the Empress. But Empress, my own vice captain betrayed us and allowed the air pirates on board. I could do naught but dispose of the traitor myself. So this is how Valua treats its people. What? Now that we've taken control of your ship, we'll be taking the girl as well. There's just one more thing I need to do. After seeing you kill an unarmed man in cold blood, I can't allow you to walk away from this. Draw your blade, Alfonso. In An uncivilized rogue such as yourself wants to challenge me? You aren't worth my effort, but perhaps you'd like to meet one of my pets. Come, Antonio. What? What is that thing? He's my personal war beast. I was going to leave him here, but it seems I found a use for him after all. Antonio, trample the pests and make their deaths as painful as possible. So, this is our first boss of the game. Antonio, as Alfonso said, is kind of his own little personal pet. To be precise, there is actually a name of what this thing's species is in game. It is a cantor. That will get explained later down the line. There's probably several people who have played the game that may not even be fully aware of this. So, right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack with Vice. And yeah, I think first turn attacking with Aka should be fine. Good, he didn't counterattack right off the bat. Alright, so he started off with an attack. That's good. Let's see here. Let's use a Sacred Crystal on Aka, and I'm actually going to showcase Alpha Storm. Now, I'll show all special moves at least once while I'm playing, but if you're curious, if you press the start button while the animation for a special move is going, it will actually skip that animation if you want to save some time. Alright, so this is its special move, Thunder of Fury. This actually, if I had used the Electri box, it would have looked a lot like this. Alright, and yeah, unfortunately, just like Electri, I'm gonna use a Sacred Crystal on Aka. Not too terribly worried. This boss is kind of tough for what effectively is the first boss of the game, but it's not impossible to deal with. Alright, here. And I'm actually going to no, actually, I should be able to take Oh, okay, so this is interesting. I was going to wait to... I didn't think it had come this quickly, but, as you can tell, the boss battle music is a bit dynamic. You can tell now that Antonio's down to half health. It's kind of got this little triumphant sort of fanfare going on. Conversely, if any of our party members get more or less in danger or is knocked unconscious, there is kind of a peril music too. So it's a nice little touch. All right, I think I'm going to defend with Vice and attack with Aka this go round. And of course, now he feels like countering. Damn. Gambled and it didn't play out too hot. Alright. I'm going to use Cutlass Fury and I'm going to defend with Aka. So you can see what Cutlass Fury's animation's like. Alright. I'm surprised it didn't play now. I think half the problem is now he will just incessantly use Thunder of Fury. Hopefully he'll use it on Aka. Because if not, there goes. And there we go. I don't know if we had one earlier, but that would be our first instance of a counterattack. back to full health. And our first instance of an attack missing, too. It can happen. I'm going to use Pyre and defend with Aka. There you go, like I said, not a terrifically easy first boss, gave us a little bit of workout, but not terrible either.
United States is ranked first with 40.
Alexa, stop. Sorry guys, I seem to have set off ALEXA. Happens intermittently, she thinks I'm talking to her, and I mean, maybe you heard something that vaguely sounded like that, but obviously not. Okay, so there's our second moonberry. Perhaps there is more to you than meets the eye. Well, Vice of the Blue Rogue, you will rue this day, the day you stood against the Valuan Empire. We shall meet again. You coward! What kind of commander sacrifices his own men and his ship to run from a fight? Well, even though he was a coward with gold. True. I suppose that ship and everything on it officially belong to us now. We haven't had a catch this big for quite some time. The people back home are going to be impressed. Look at this girl. I've never seen anyone dressed like that before. You're right. She sure doesn't look like she's from around here. I wonder why Valua was trying to kidnap this girl in the first place. I wonder where she's from. This place. Am I home? Fina, you replace Rami, the moon. Elder, however, watch yourself. Do not allow trust. Elder. How is she, Vice? Her breathing's more regular now. I think she'll be alright. Hey! Look, she's coming too! Where am I? You're aboard our ship, the Albatross. I'm Vice. Don't worry, there aren't any Valuan troops around, so you'll be safe here. Yes. Thank you very much. You don't need to thank us. The Blue Rogues are always there to help people. My name is Aka. It's nice to meet you. Hey, could you tell us your name? My name? My name is Fina. Alright, so this is, remember when I mentioned kind of there are dialogue options that have swashbuckler ratings attached to them? They give you an easy first one. And you'll know you got the right option if you got that little ding right there. Fina, huh? It's such a great name. It's so feminine. Really? You think so? Jeez, you try and compliment someone, and nothing. No reaction whatsoever. Vice, that wasn't much of a compliment. Looks like you have a lot to learn about women. Excuse me, but I have a question. What exactly is an air pirate? What? You were out sailing all by yourself and you don't even know what air pirates are? Oh, I'm sorry, this is my first time traveling. Basically, air pirates are sailors that attack other ships and steal their cargo. Attack? You don't have to worry about us. We're Blue Rogues. See, air pirates are divided into two factions, the Blue Rogues and Black Pirates. The Black Pirates will attack anything in the sky, especially merchant vessels and unarmed ships. However, we Blue Rogues only take cargo from armed ships, especially the Imperial Armada. We rob from the rich and keep the gold, but we use the gold to save people that need our help. That's why we helped you. Don't worry, we aren't trying to kidnap you or anything. Just relax and enjoy the trip. Sure. Vice, Aka, how long are you going to sit there chit-chatting? Come to the bridge now. Oh no, I completely lost track of time. Oh well, I guess that means we have to go. Alright, Fina, we'll see you later. Try and get some rest. Alright, I'm going to tour this ship, but I did want to talk a little bit. Like I said, I'm going to try not to get too talkative during cutscenes, but I did kind of want to mention some interesting stuff that came up earlier. First off, as you heard Vice say, that we are what's called Blue Rogues, and effectively they're kind of Robin Hood-like, but not entirely. They don't obviously redistribute the money, they more use it to for a help effort of sorts, as you'll see later in the game. Secondarily, in case it wasn't obvious, this game it takes some heavy inspiration from a lot of sources, the most notable of which is a very loose interpretation of our own real world history. In case it wasn't obvious, and I'll try to kind of tell you what most of the nations are as we go along, Valua is heavily based off of Spain, or the Spanish Empire to be precise. And almost every other nation in this game is kind of derived from real-world historical relations to the Spanish Empire. So wanted to get that out of the way. Also, just interesting little tidbit, the ship's name, the Albatross. Yes, it is roughly based on the... that's actually got some interesting nautical basis. For a long time, a lot of sailors thought that albatrosses were a sign of good fortunes, to the point where there was actually a famous story about a man killing an albatross, and, it did not go well for him in any capacity afterwards. He was effectively cursed. And if you've ever heard someone make the saying about the ocean, water everywhere, and not a drop to drink, that actually did come from that story. So, I'm going to take a quick tour of the ship. So you've got kind of a little storage unit. And fun fact, doesn't happen everywhere, but like Vice can actually kind of interact with his environment. So like it's full of ammunition. We're not allowed to take any without my dad's permission. He's very strict about things about that. Hey, he's the captain on this ship. You got that? And get some character introductions. Well, I feel I can talk to the man. Luke the Raider. Hey Vice, that raid earlier was pretty good. It's been a while since we raided a Valuan ship. If you're wondering what we did with the Valuans, well, when they heard their fearless laid or abandoned ship, they surrendered. Captain Dine just let them go, though. Well, after we took all their treasure, of course. And there was a lot of it. We'll take what we can, but we only fight when we need to. That's what separates us Blue Rogues from the Black Pirates. And what's interesting is there actually is some historical basis for that. Like, a lot of pirates would actually try to avoid conflict if possible. Obviously, it's much better if you just get your stuff without having to potentially lose any of your men. This is a stateroom, or I believe would it effectively be called a cabin? The stateroom is only like cruise ships and yachts. Any more nautical-minded individuals can feel free to correct me in the comment section. I'll take a bit of a quick tour around the main portion of the ship. So, and where we're in is kind of mid-ocean, so it's a map of mid-ocean. This area is considered the turf of the Dine family Blue Rogues. You're late, Vice. I told you that you need to be on time for your shift. You know the routine. Swab the decks, and they better be clean. But Dad, I was only a little late. On a ship, being a little late can cost lives. And one more thing, while we're on board, it's not Dad, it's Captain. Got it? Yeah, I got it. We're heading home to Pirate Isle. Go report to Briggs. See if he needs you for anything. And this guy is Landis the Navigator. And I'll admit, there are two members of this crew that look shockingly similar to like members of the red-haired pirates for One Piece, so that's kind of funny. When you're at the helm, watch out for sky rifts. There are those really strong downdrafts that surround Pirate Isle. If your engines aren't strong enough and you fly into them, the wind will push you down to the deep sky. The pressure down there would crush us. Don't worry, it doesn't go that far, but the game does actually have ways of like kind of keeping you from going places you're not supposed to go. This is Briggs, so if that guy looked like Lucky Roo, I mean, he vaguely reminds me of If You Died, Ben Beckman's hair brown. And fittingly enough, he's the vice captain too. Oh, there you are, Vice. You finally decided to join us on the bridge, huh? Well, we're heading home to Pirate Isle. Pirate Isle is just southeast from here. Just head south first, and it's just past the Valley of Islands. Head south of the Valley of Islands? Aye aye. Alright, let's get moving then. Full speed ahead to Pirate Isle. Vice, before we set sail, do you have any questions that you wanted to ask me? I'm going to hold off on that because I'll kind of explain it as you go. Well then, full speed ahead. Destination, Pirate Isle. Alright, so the way this ship moves, if you turn left or right, you'll move a little bit, but you'll mostly swivel. Obviously, forward and back. Move yourself forward and back. You can either use the C stick or the L and R keys. R increases your elevation. L lowers it. Another key thing, so we're going to come up on this. Alright, you see the compass kind of going a little mad there? That is what we're going to get in Discovery, and I don't know if you remember, but I alluded to an Exploration King Vice, or something to that effect. It has 90% of the chests and all of these. And yes, we will be, as by proxy of getting at least the pseudo-completionist rating, if not Vice the Legend. We are going for all discoveries. This is the Pirate's Grave. It appears that someone has scribbled onto the stone. Here lies an unknown blue rogue. The actual name has been worn away by the wind, but the first letter D can still be made out. Nobody remembers who rests here. Fun fact, it's made pretty obvious later on who that individual is, but without going into too much detail, it does create it might be a potentially odd plot hole. I might actually try to explain it once I get there, but just an interesting tidbit. Wait, that's the legendary Pirate's Grave. Good job, Vice. I'm sure the Sailors Guild would be more than happy to pay you for making this discovery. Guild? Pay me for a discovery? Much of this world is uncharted and shrouded in legend. Ruins, strange creatures, all sorts of things are waiting to be discovered. Any major port city will have a Sailors Guild. They pay explorers well for any information on discoveries that they've made. When you're flying through the skies and your compass starts spinning rapidly, that means there's a discovery nearby. If you try searching the area, you'll probably find a discovery. Just head over to the Sailors Guild afterwards and collect your reward. But the longer you wait, the greater your chance that someone else will beat you to it. So you should visit the guild as soon as you can, okay? And that is correct. As the game goes on, you will actually lose money for certain discoveries if you wait too long to sell them. So knock it out as soon as you possibly can. Alright, so right off the bat, it isn't worth catching too much in the way of fish, but these things these are called Sky Sardies. You want to get at least 10 of them. It'll be useful for much later in the game, so don't sell them. Got our first encounter. Alright. Alright, so... if I'm not mistaken... May not have the correct magic affinity. So this is obviously a Maraca. As far as I know, I think they are weak to purple magic. We don't have that yet. We will shortly. Just use guards for now. So this is an interesting thing. If you have a guard up while critical hits being delivered, obviously it's no guarantee, but you can actually counter in some cases. There we go.
That wasn't so bad.
And they're usually their kind of their exit thing can directly relate to like how much health they have. That is something to bear in mind. And Ika got Pyre. Let's see. While I'm thinking about it, I forgot to do this earlier. This, arguably one of the most useful moves in the game. So, fun fact, my first time playing this game, I know I absolutely sucked at it because I did not get how useful this move is. Delta Shield. Pretty much makes you immune to all spells for one turn. And there are certain move speeds, but Delta Shield, regardless of the level of you versus the enemy, will always get off as one of the first moves. So that is an extraordinarily useful move to have this early in the game. And let's see here. Items, let's see if we got enough. I need about 2 more. Trust me, it's way later in the game. Those Sky Sardies do end up being useful. Alright, so here we are at Pirate Isle. Hey Fina, how are you feeling? I'm feeling much better. Thank you for your concern. No problem. I'm just happy to see that you're well. Looks like we'll be reaching the island soon. Island? You can see it right over there. That's our base, Pirate Isle. Pirate Isle?
Something here really nice.
Weapons, armor, gold. Now this is a great catch. One of our best yet. Tonight we should celebrate. Well, Fina, this is what we do. What do you think? Well, it certainly looks challenging. Challenging, huh? Well, now that you mention it, it isn't easy, but it is fun. This is the underground port for inside of Pirate Isle. On the outside, this island looks like a quiet, peaceful village. But the inside of the island is where our headquarters is located. There are armories, shops, and even a tavern inside here. Come on, we'll give you a tour. Vice. Come to my office immediately, and bring that girl with you. Vice, I wonder what that was all about. I'm not sure, but we'd better hurry. You know how my dad gets when we're late. Alright. And I think this is a good cutoff point for us. I'm going to save right here. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. You guys have a wonderful day. And see you next time.